Welcome back to Hudson Valley Week in Review. I'm Greene. We continue now with an ongoing phone scam in Ulster County targeting taxpayers. The scam, which stretches across the nation, involves callers who claim to be from the IRS. They explain that the victim owes money and then demands immediate payment. We recently spoke with Ulster County District Attorney Holly Carnwright. He provides some simple rules of thumb to help keep residents safe from these types of scams.
So the first tip-off on the scam is that it's a phone call, and the IRS will not make a phone call. The IRS, if it's the IRS, they reach out to you, they'll do so by mail. So if you get a phone call from someone saying that they represent the IRS, you know right away that it's a scam. The other tip-off is that they ask for payment immediately. They'll ask for either a debit card or a wire transfer. The IRS will never do that. If you owe money to the IRS, you will be contacted in writing. You'll be contacted by an agent of the IRS, and then they'll make arrangements to meet with you in person and talk about the actual payment. So this scam is not new. This has been going on for a while. It's much more prevalent this year than in past. So this is not a new scam. Usually we get them around April, a little bit before April, when people are starting to panic and get nervous. They've sent in a tax return, and sometimes there's an honest mistake on a tax return. And so usually it's in tax season. This year it's been all over. Throughout the county, my consumer fraud department gets complaints almost on a daily basis on this fraud. Well, I can tell you that certainly in the last at least 3 years ago that we were aware of this scam, but it hadn't hit Ulster County in any volume. So we'd get a call, and as I said, we'd send out a notice around tax time and not hear much of it. This year it's been much more prevalent. Number one, if it's a phone call, the IRS will not call you on the phone. So that's the first tip-off. The manner of payment and the demand for immediate payment is another tip-off. When they ask for a debit card or a wire transfer, when they ask for your financial information over the phone, all of these things are typical of a scam. If the IRS, if it is the IRS, they will reach out to you by mail, and they usually follow that up with an appointment. Well, first of all, don't give them any information and don't send them money. And then the next thing we ask you to do is to contact our Consumer Fraud Bureau and file a complaint with them. This particular scam we're aware of, and we're trying to run that down. These scams are often done by very sophisticated people, and oftentimes they're from out of the country. So there's not too much a local DA can do, but what we do is we communicate with the IRS and we tell them what we have, and then if there's anything we can do to follow up with detail, that's what we do. So this particular scam, I would not say is targeting the elderly. This scam is a volume scam, and they send it out to literally hundreds of people. There are other scams that do target the elderly, but I wouldn't say this one is actually targeting the elderly. In Ulster County, since I've been around as the DA, there are 4 scams that come to mind that are the most prevalent. This IRS scam has become a real problem for us. The other one that comes, it never goes away, is the grandparent scam. And what happens there is that someone will call on the phone and sound very authentic. I mean, they've done their homework, they call up and they'll use the name of a grandchild. And then they'll say, Johnny's in trouble, he got stopped by the police, he's in jail, he asked me to call you to see if you would send money for bail. He's afraid to tell mom and dad, so he's reaching out to you. And they're very authentic, they're very, very engaging and informative. So many people put information on Facebook. For instance, if I have a grandson that's going to go on a trip, he'll put on his Facebook, hey, we're going to go down to Mexico and we're going to be gone for 2 days and I can't wait, and etc. And he'll have specific information. So somebody that goes on the Facebook account will get that information, and they'll say, I'm from wherever it is that he flew into. So they'll have that information. They'll say that I'm a bail bondsman, that if you don't send the money, he's going to stay in jail. The next time he's going to be in court is for 2 weeks, so he'll be in jail for 2 weeks before he sees a lawyer. Then if they send the money for the bond, they'll call back and say, hello, this is so-and-so, and I'm an attorney. Your grandson asked me to represent him, but he doesn't have any money. Do you want to hire him? If not, he'll have the public defender. I mean, they just keep going until the people finally stop. So it's a very, it's an insidious type of fraud. The other two frauds that we have are more local and more common, and those have been the driveway and chimney frauds. Those are pretty straightforward frauds that have been going on for a long, long time, and those are more common sense than anything. If somebody calls and said, I think you have a problem with your chimney, well, let's say that you're an elderly person. Chances are you've never been on your roof. Chances are you're not going to go back up on the roof. You're not going to go up there and look down and see if there's a problem with the chimney. You know your house is 60 years old. You don't know if there's a crack in the chimney, and they say, well, with this crack in the chimney, if it's not repaired properly, your house could burn down. Whoa, and then that's scary, right? So again, common sense is you check the credentials of the person. You can always ask for a second estimate. Call someone that you know, a contractor that you know, and ask them, can you inspect my chimney for me? The common sense approach is to not jump right away to the first fear tactic that is presented to you. For the elderly, the best thing to do is to call someone who you trust. So whether that's your son or daughter, your neighbor, it could be a care provider, it could be anyone, but call someone that you trust and talk to them. You can always call consumer fraud. I do that. I use my own consumer fraud department fairly often. Someone calls up and I said, gee, I wonder if this is on the legit. So I call consumer fraud and I say, hey, Pat, do you have anything on this particular outfit? And the answer is yes or no. So that it's a free service. We're available. We're there for that purpose, to try and help people. So if you have any question, call consumer fraud and say this is what's going on, and we'll offer advice to you. But the simple advice is go slow. Go slow. Think this through. Get advice from someone that you trust, and don't send anybody money or financial information until you're sure. There's going to be another fraud the next day, particularly with the internet, and some of these criminals are ingenious. The grandparent fraud is remarkably good. They have actors. They have people. One person will get on the phone. If you said, well, I want to talk to my grandson, someone will get on the phone sobbing, and you can't quite hear the voice, but you say, oh my gosh, and then they take the phone. I'm sorry, he doesn't have any more time. It's very compelling. These people are quite good at what they do. The internet frauds are going to be more and more difficult to prosecute, because they're going to be coming from overseas fraudsters. So I don't know.
When we come back, news making headlines in Ulster County. Stay with us.